At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way. Offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers about hikers for everybody.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning.
Welcome to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast with the spotlight on section hikers.
And I'll spread the word, and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
All right, you guys, welcome to the podcast. You are listening to Jester Section Hiker, the premier podcast with the spotlight on section hikers. And I'm your host, Julie Jester Gayhart. And right now, I am currently at my local nature preserve here in Charlotte, North Carolina, actually out on a training hike for the John Muir Trail. And I am headed to one of my favorite spots at the preserve, where I have recorded before to go over my JMT gear list with you guys. So as soon as I get there, you will be hearing that. Hopefully you guys got a chance to listen to last week's episode, which was titled JMT Logistics, where I went over all the things you need to do if you are interested in getting a permit, websites you can go to, where you can find all kinds of information. So if you have not gotten a chance to listen to that episode, I do recommend you go back and listen to that. Currently, at the release of this episode, we are well on our way on our John Muir hike, hopefully, fingers crossed. We are past, I think, day 10, and we should have already picked up our Reds Meadow resupply and our Muir Trail Ranch resupply. We are headed south about 5 or 6, 7 days away from Mount Whitney, which is going to be very, very exciting. So kind of wanted to give you guys an update on where we will actually be when you are hearing this episode. And for this week, I am going to be going over everything that I am going to be carrying in my pack for the hike. And I gotta go ahead and tell you guys, I have dialed in this pack as about as much that's gonna happen. I have taken out things, put things in, rearranged things, and I think I got it pretty dialed in, and I'm really happy with it. So let's get on with this. I've got about a mile and a half to go, and I will be over to my favorite area, and I will be back to chat with you guys here shortly about my JMT gear list. All right, you guys, I am back, and I have made it over to one of my favorite places here in the preserve, and I'm not too far from the water. So you can hear boats going by in the background. There are people out swimming right off the trail, about a football field away. But anyway, it's awesome background to have, I think, and hopefully it will not get too loud. And if anybody hikes by, we'll just say hey and keep on going. So let's go ahead and get started with this gear list. And the title of this episode, the JMT Gear List. And let's start off with the backpack I am going to be carrying. I have had since 2018. It is an ULA Circuit, the non-X-Pack version. Again, it is a ULA circuit, the non-X-Pack version, and I am extremely happy with that pack. Like I said, I've used it since 2018. I love that you can get specific shoulder straps for women. They're called the S-curve. I love that you can exchange out different size belts, and if you go on their website, when you order the pack, you can get different shoulder straps, you can get different accessories, and the pack, it just seems to fit me really well. So I am sticking with that. And before I go any further, in the show notes of today's episode, there will be a Google Doc titled Jester's JMT Gear List, where you will have access to all of this information. There are hyperlinks on specific items that I thought you guys might be interested in. Go ahead and say this up front. I am not sponsored. I am not affiliated. This is just information for you guys about what I will be using and what I use on backpack trips. And with that being said, let's go ahead and move forward. So the pack liner I am going to be using, I used to use a trash compactor bag, but I actually got a Nylafume pack liner from Light AF. I am going to be carrying my Light AF fanny pack. You guys know I've talked about that a couple times. I love that thing. I didn't know if I was going to like it when I first got it, but it is phenomenal. It allows me to carry things right in the front of me. It does not bounce around on your stomach. It's just great. It's waterproof. I've had it out in the rain. I've had no issues. So I'm also going to be carrying the Light AF fanny pack. Again, I went over a lot of this stuff on my day hike gear list recently, my summer 2021 day hike gear list. So you can always go back and listen to that episode as well. I will be carrying my Spot Generation 4. I do not have an inReach. I know they're very popular. I have been carrying the Spot since 2009. I love it. I've had no issues. But I did upgrade to the Spot Generation 4. My headlamp I am taking on the John Muir Trail is called the Nightcore NU 32550. That is a USB charging headlamp. And since I'm going to be carrying a battery pack, there was no reason for me to carry extra batteries or anything like that. I can just charge my headlamp as needed. That is the Nightcore NU 32550. I am going to have a whistle attached to my pack, and I am going to be carrying a new whistle called the Fox 40. And I want to thank Kathy Tarr for sending me that whistle. If you guys will remember, Kathy Tarr was on the podcast several episodes ago where we talked about the Fowler-O'Sullivan Foundation. She is the executive director. So Kathy, thank you for sending me that whistle. I will be carrying a bandana on the front of my pack that I use to wipe my face and all that good stuff. And it's a safety bandana. So it has like the 10 essentials and some safety things on there. And I like carrying that because if you get in a situation, you can always read the bandana and it will give you tips. And I did leave the link for that safety bandana in the Google Doc. Okay, the next big thing is my tent. So you guys, I did purchase a new tent, a Big Agnes, but I am not going to be carrying that tent. I'm actually going to be taking that tent back. I am going to be carrying my good old trusty MSR Hubba. They are actually no longer sold, this particular style of it. I purchased this back in 2013 and it's 2.5 pounds, and I've gotten flack from people saying, oh, you can get lighter on your tent. But you guys, it's freestanding. I love it. I've never gotten wet. I recently called MSR. One of the reasons I was going to get a new tent is because I need new tent poles and I need a new rain fly for the tent. They are going to replace it. Even though I bought it back in 2013, that particular model and style is so popular and there are so many people that still have that tent. They keep extra rain flies, footprints, poles, all that stuff, and you can purchase that separately. So I have done that. Yay, I'm very excited about that. So I will be carrying my MSR Hubba. As far as a sleeping bag, I actually have 2 bags, Western Mountaineering sleeping bags. I have the Mega Light 30 degree or the Alpine Light 20 degree. And right now, 2 weeks out, I'm kind of up in the air which one I'm going to be taking. The weather has gotten crazy out in California. There are extreme heat advisories out right now, 2 weeks out. And depending on what the weather's like a couple days before we leave, I don't know, I might be carrying the 20 degree or I might be carrying the 30 degree, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. Sometime or another during the hike, I'll let you guys know which one I am going to be carrying. But either one is a Western Mountaineering sleeping bag. I have also gone with a new sleeping pad. I'm going to be using the ThermaRest Uber Light. I kind of went back and forth with this, but you guys, 8 ounces for the regular size, you cannot beat it. So I am going to be carrying the ThermaRest Uber Light. I'm also taking a pillow on this trip, and I have a Wilderness Technology pillow. It is extremely similar to the C2 Summit pillow, but it's called the Wilderness Technology pillow. And I got this little tip. I don't know if you guys listened to my episode with Craig Hawk Maines, who now is on his 6th through hike of the Appalachian Trail, but he puts a buff around the outside of his pillow. And I thought, well, why haven't I done that? So I'm actually going to carry a buff that actually goes on the outside of the pillow. So when you're sleeping, it's nice and soft and it feels good. And gives you some additional comfort. So Wilderness Technology pillow with a buff. I am also going to be carrying Goose Down booties. These are extremely light. I think they're like 2 ounces. You can get them from Goose Down Gear. And you guys have heard me talk before. I sleep pretty cold. So adding these booties to my gear list and taking them on the trip is going to be phenomenal. I wish I would have had these a couple years ago in 2019 when we through hiked the Wonderland Trail. I was a little chill. My feet, no matter what, for some reason, they tend to get cold, but these booties are a life changer. All right, let's get into basically what I'm calling my night clothes. I have a pair of REI midweight tights, an REI midweight crew short sleeve t-shirt, and I also carry a pair of Smart Wool hiking socks, and these are midweight socks. And all of that goes into a 10-liter C2 Summit dry compression sack. So what I do is I take that sack, I put my sleeping bag, my Goose Down booties, my tights, and my shirt, and my extra socks all in that 10-liter C2 Summit dry compression sack. And you guys, it all compresses down into one compartment. It's always dry. I always have a backup if there's an emergency. I can always get my sleeping bag and have dry clothes. And I've done that for several years. So, all right, sleeping bag, Goose Down booties, night clothes, all goes into the C2 Summit dry compression sack. For my cook system, I'm going to be using a 500 milliliter, well, I think it's it might be 750 milliliter Toaks titanium pot. You guys have heard me talk about my spoon before. I'm going to be taking the Toaks Smooth Bowl spoon. It's their longer spoon. I love that thing. Never had an issue with it. My stove, I'm going to be carrying the BRS 3000 stove. So again, the cook system is the Toaks pot, the Toaks spoon, and the Toaks stove. For the John Muir Trail, you have to carry a bear canister, and my final choice on the bear canister is going to be the BV 500. That thing is a monster, but seems to be the most popular choice, and everybody's carrying them out on the John Muir Trail. It is required. And you guys heard me talk about in my logistics episode, there are a couple companies, Wild Ideas, and then the Bear Vault 500, and I have gone with the Bear Vault 500. That thing is 2.2 pounds, 9 ounces, just itself. For water filtration, I'll be carrying a 1 liter Katahdin Bee-Free water filter. Love that thing. I made the decision not to carry my bladder just because when you put the Bear Vault in your pack and all that stuff, a bladder just seems like a nuisance. So I am going to be carrying 2 1-liter water bottles with sports caps. The bottles that I get at my local QT gas station, it's called Body Armor Water. I'm going to leave you a link for that. So again, I've made my decision. I'm going with 2 1-liter water bottles and and my filter is going to be a Katahdin B-free filter that will also carry 1 liter of water. So I have 3 liters of water capacity, which I think that will be enough. My rain gear, I'm sticking with my Marmot Precip rain jacket and my Marmot Precip rain pants. I have never had an issue with those over the years. The only thing I've had to do is replace them just simply because they wear out. My puffy jacket is going to be my Marmot puffy jacket. I think that's actually what it's called. The Marmot, it's not a Houdini. I cannot remember, but I put a link to it in the Google Doc. It's just a Marmot puffy jacket. And I will be taking my trusty Patagonia Houdini. That thing weighs nothing. I can throw it on if I get chilled while we stop in the morning, eating lunch. I love, love, love that thing. Probably my number one piece of gear, if I had to choose right now, would be my Patagonia Houdini jacket. I do recommend that. I will be taking a wool hat. It is a DOHM wool hat. It has a fleece liner on the inside. I love that thing. It's made in Colorado. I left a link to that as well. Gloves I'm going to be carrying are the Outdoor Research Versaliner gloves. Again, I talked about those in my day hike gear list. It's your traditional like running glove. Each of the pair of gloves has an additional pocket on the top of your hand where there is a rain mitt that you keep in there. You pull out the rain mitt if it starts raining or you want a little bit more warmth. Those gloves are awesome. I am going to be carrying Crocs. They are the classic style Crocs. I do like to have camp shoes. I like to be able to take my shoes off, let my feet air out, dry out when I get to camp. So I will be carrying Crocs. I will also have 2 C2 Summit 1-liter dry bags, one for my toiletry kit and one for my first aid kit. Again, in my toiletry kit is going to be toilet papers, baby wipes, Body Glide, and a trowel. And in my first aid kit, and I keep all this stuff in a Ziploc bag, an extra mini Bic lighter, a Swiss Army knife. For this trip, I always bring chapstick, but I am specifically bringing SPF 40 chapstick, insect repellent, DEET 100%, hand sanitizer, suntan lotion, and specifically for this trip, SPF 50, Advil, Imodium, Zysol, which is an allergy pill, some Leukotape. The Leukotape I've actually wrapped around the mini Bic lighter, a few Band-Aids, a couple gauze pads, some antibiotic ointment, a self-adhering bandage, and a couple strips of some KT tape. So my first aid kit is really small, compact, but it's got things in there that I need and that are part of the 10 essentials if all of that becomes necessary. I'm going to continue to carry my Black Diamond carbon fiber hiking pole, one pole, and as always, I put orange duct tape around the pole. The map or pocket atlas that I am going to be carrying is the Eric the Black Pocket Atlas, specifically for the John Muir Trail. I love that pocket atlas. Not only does it have the John Muir Trail, all the resupply points, it has all the side trails, how to get services, how to get off the trail if you need to, transportation points, side trails that take you to transportation points. So again, I recommend Eric the Black Pocket Atlas. I will be taking my iPhone 12 Pro Max. I will be carrying an Anchor power brick, and I've decided to go with the 20,000 milliamp Anchor power brick, a couple different power cords, and a charging brick that plugs into the wall, so it will charge the power brick and my iPhone at the same time. I'm going to be carrying 2 Rode, R-O-D-E, lapel mics and adapters so I can record for the podcast. And I will keep those mics in a Z-Packs phone zip pouch. My wallet is going to be the Walhalla Hammocks and Outdoor Wallet. I'm actually going to be taking a hiking umbrella on this trip. It is the 6 Moons Design hiking umbrella. And I cannot remember which one, but it is hyperlinked in the Google Doc, so you can have access to that. So that is basically everything that is going to be on my pack, in my fanny pack, on my back. And now we will get to what's going to be on my feet. Believe it or not, I am switching trail runners. I am moving over to the Hoka Speed Goat 4s. I know, big shock. I have been wearing the Cascadias from Brooks for many, many, many years, but they just don't have the cushion that they used to have in the shoe. They've changed the shoe a lot, which they always do. Brands, for some reason, think they got to change shoes every year. But I have been wearing the Hokas now for about 3 or 4 weeks, the Speed Goat 4s. They are the men's version because the men's come in a D width, and I need that width for my foot. And then I am not changing socks. I am sticking with my traditional Injinji toe socks, and those are the trail mid-weight version. All right, let's go ahead and move on over to clothing. This is not really changing much except for one additional item I am adding. I will be wearing a Columbia Women's PFG performance shirt. It will be a short sleeve version. I am actually taking a pair of Smart Wool arm warmers in case I need arm warmers in the morning. I can use them at night because I am carrying a short sleeve midweight crew shirt. So those arm warmers are awesome. They are Smart Wool arm warmers. I'll be wearing my good old cool Renegade shorts. That's KUHL. It's the Renegade shorts. I'll be taking a bandana. I'll be taking my same sunglasses. They are the Still STIHL. They are called the White Ice sunglasses. I love those things. And my hat that I will be wearing on the John Muir Trail. And I can thank Friday for this, who came out and hiked with me last summer. He introduced me to a hat called a Sherpa hat. And it's a brimmed hat. But the really cool thing about this hat, it has SPF sun protection. It covers your ears. It covers the back of your neck. I call it a hiking out west hat or a fishing hat. But the awesome thing about this hat, it has a firm brim like a trucker hat or a ball cap. And you guys, it is light. It's SPF 50. I think it's going to do the job. You can dip it down in water. You can get it wet. And I love, love, love that it has a hard brim in the front, like a ball cap. That is the most awesome feature about this hat. And I definitely left a hyperlink in the Google Doc. It is called a Sherpa hat. And my specific hat that I bought is called the Osprey Slim Brim. I think they have about 5 different styles. Again, SHELTA hat, the Osprey Slim Brim. All right, you guys, I made it through the list. Again, all of this stuff, I have a Google Doc in the show notes. This is exactly what I'm going to be carrying. I'm not sure about the sleeping bag yet, if it's going to be a 30 degree or a 20 degree, but I will keep you guys posted on that. I am going to work my way back to the truck, and by the time I get back there, I will come back and close out the episode. All right, you guys, I am almost back to my truck, and on my way back over here, I was listening to what I just recorded, and I already have 3 corrections to give you guys. So I wanted to make sure that I let you guys know the pot that I am going to be carrying, which is part of my cook set, is the Toaks 750 milliliter pot. So I think I said I couldn't remember if it was a 500 or a 750. It is a 750 milliliter Toaks pot. I also said that I was going to be carrying a Toaks stove at one point. The stove I am carrying is a BRS 3000 stove. So there's the correction on that. And for some reason, I was calling the Be Free Catadine water filter, the 1 liter water filter, the Katahdin Be-Free water filter, but it is actually called the Katahdin Be-Free 1 liter water filter. So there are the corrections. And before I officially close out, I want to give some thank yous. And first and foremost, I want to give a thank you to Steve Adams, who is the owner of the Hiking Radio Network. He produces all of our shows. You guys know him as Mighty Blue. Huge shout out and thank you for producing these shows every week and for inviting me on the John Muir Trail. I cannot thank you enough. I am looking forward to hiking with you, my friend, and I cannot wait until we get on the trail. I also want to give a shout out to Paul Collins. You guys know him as Skunk Ape. Paul does all of the social media artwork that you guys see for each episode out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, on our website. He does a version of that for me each week for the show. He is a master at Photoshop, which I am not. So thank you, Skunk Ape, for doing that every week. And I have not thanked these guys in a long time, and shame on me for that. I want to thank the Grammy Award-winning AT section hikers, the Okie Dokie Brothers, who gave us the rights and allow us to use their song Through the Woods every week for my podcast specifically. Okie Dokie Brothers, I love you and thank you so much. And if you guys want more information on them, you can find all the Okie Dokie Brothers music in today's show notes. I want to give a shout out to Kathy Tarr, not only for coming on the podcast and talking about the Fowler-O'Sullivan Foundation, but for sending me that Fox 40 whistle. And you guys, she also sent me a couple safety vests that I can wear when I am out on the road for the Mountains to Sea Trail, if I ever end up on a search or for anything really. So she sent me a whistle and 2 safety vests. And Kathy, I cannot thank you enough for that. And last but not least, for this episode, I want to thank Friday for introducing me to the Shelta hat. And you guys can go over and follow Friday on Instagram at Friday Hikes. As you could probably guess, he posts every Friday on Instagram about his hike that he took on Friday. So thank you all very, very much. None of this could be possible without all of you. And let's go ahead and officially close this out. You guys know that my John Muir Trail hike is officially dedicated to Kris Sherpa Fowler. And I am asking for donations for the foundation, the duration of this series of JMT episodes. I hope we can raise more money for the Fowler-O'Sullivan Foundation so we can all continue to assist families of missing hikers, help them with hiker education and foundation initiatives. You can find the link to the foundation in the show notes for more information. As always, you can go to the hikingradionetwork.com, click on the Jester Section Hiker Show to find all of today's show notes, pictures, and links mentioned in the episode. And if you have found any value in what we do here at the network, please consider leaving us a donation or writing us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can also go over on our website and leave us a voice message. All right, you guys, happy section hiking, everybody. Thanks for listening. Be safe out there, and I'll be back next Saturday.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning light. I wonder if you'd wander with me, and I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods what kind of trouble we'll get ourselves into. Would it be wrong to tag along with a band of vagabonds? You wonder if I'd wander with you. So I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods. I'm wondering if you'd come wandering my way. If you ever get lost, or if the trail leads you astray, the music of the pack can always bring you back. I wonder, can we wander away? And I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.